we need to get behind the GNU only because the alternative is too terrifying to imagine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
However, I would have hoped the GNU would have had a mission statement. This is what we're all about. This is where we're going. Yeah. This is what we believe in. These are the principles. This is what we're going to try and achieve.
Yeah.
They haven't done that. The only thing that matters in this country now is economic growth. Unless we can get economic growth, we're at less than 1%. Unless we can get it to 3, 4, 5%,
yeah,
we're never going to solve the unemployment problem. We're never going to solve any problems. We're just going to drift along as an underperforming country.
Yeah.
By choice. And listen, I don't have to live here. I've got more than enough money to never work again. I've got more than enough money overseas not to have to put up with any hassle. I could just go and live in Florida or wherever.
Yeah.
But I love this country and I believe in it and I am a patriot and I never want to leave. I do this because I actually care.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we may not agree on, my hard capitalist free market beliefs. You may have a different angle on that, or you may want to have a welfare element to capitalism or a softer side to it. But I think we do agree we need economic growth.
Yeah.
And in the GNU, not one of the ministries that can dictate or create economic growth is held outside of the ANC. And you've got the people who've been screwing things up for 30 years, still in power and running the ministries that matter.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. I mean,
so it's where are we going to go? We're not going to get economic growth out of this GNU. So I think they and Gayton and Nkata and are trying to make the best of it. I really do think they're trying to give it a full whack. And I respect them for that. Gayton said to me, Rob, we've got to get everyone behind the GNU. We've got to try and make it work. I get that.
Yeah.
I believe in that. But I do think the DA is selling its soul a bit. I just, the principles of the DA, free speech, free markets, liberal, Gladstonian liberalism is being put by the wayside somewhat in this.
Yeah.
But they were right not to walk out of the door on Bella.
Sure.
Sure. You're going to have to wait for a much bigger, more crucial crossroads for the DA to walk out. So everyone knows that 2026, 2027, the municipals, which by the way are going to happen in February 2027.
Interesting.
Everyone's saying it's 2026. It's February 2027.
I learned that one from you actually with Alec. Yeah. Because the law allows it to go beyond 90 days, which would be February 27 or up to.
And the other thing in 2027 is the ANC elective conference.
It's going to be a big year here.
Now, I believe that Cyril can stand again. He can. Did you know that?
Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can. Yeah.
But
as ANC president.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want Paul Mashatile, Lessufi, and I think it was Ronald Lamola who was in the running in those days. He wants to have a female replace him as president, and he has 2 ladies in mind.
Wow.
And I don't know their names yet, but I'm going to find out. I met Julius.
You met Julius in London, right?
I hosted his first ever lunch in London.
Yeah, I think
and
I was
there's
in
this
Oxford
photograph of Lord Robin Rennick, who died a month ago.
Yeah.
My dad, me, and Julius Malema.
Yes, yeah.
We were just having lunch.
Yeah.
And there were 20 other people there. And that picture's been flying around. Paulie van Wyk, when I first moved back to South Africa, journalist for Daily Maverick.
Yes, yeah.
Comes up to me and says, I'm doing an article on you funding the EFF. I went, where do you get this from? She said, this photograph. I said, so you extrapolate a lunch photograph to me funding the EFF. I mean, come on. Do proper work.
Yeah. So you didn't.
So I met Julius and he was very impressive. He's highly intelligent. He plays to the audience. I tried to get him to put his red cap on for a photograph. He said no. He knew this was London, the city of London. These are the big beasts of the financial sector. and he was going to do the right thing. And my father, after 20 minutes of Julius speaking, people were nodding their heads. Because 90% of what he says you can actually agree with. The rest is the Looney Tunes. And my father put his hand up and he said, Julius, how can you speak to all of us in an intelligent, sensible way, and yet you go to a football stadium, it's, kill the Boers. And Julius said, I play to the audience. Straight like that.
Wow.
So I think he's going to have a hard time remaining relevant. He's lost his top lieutenants. And the EFF's just the crazy guys. They're gone. From my perspective, they are not relevant anymore.
You reckon they can't come back from this?
No. I spoke to him on the phone, and he was as charming as I was told he would be. Couldn't have been nicer.
Yeah.
And I know why he's so popular. He's a charming, popular guy. But, there's Father Christmas, jolly man handing out presents. That is Jacob Zuma. The disastrous president. Terrible that he was even in power for this country. But people liked him. So I think when he goes, MK is going to have a hard time finding who the real leader is and keeping its direction. Are they a Marxist, Leninist, populist? What are they? I don't think they've worked it out yet. And there are 32 ministers and 43 deputy ministers, 75 ministers.
It's actually
Norway has 9. Why do we need 75 ministers? What do they do?
It's an abomination.
What does the Ministry of Women do? What do they actually do?
Yeah. And why do we have... What is any deputy minister? And we have
Correct.
2 deputy ministers in some places. I mean...
Well, in finance, I met David Masondo. He called me out of the blue at the introduction of a Nigerian friend of mine.
Okay.
And I said, David, aren't I the Satan? Aren't I this devil? Why are you calling me? And he laughed. He said, no, Rob, you're a patriot. He's such an impressive guy.
Yeah, he is actually.
Yeah. But Enoch is too.
As well.
Listen, to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah. Who do you think is the real deal?
Parks Tower, I think, is actually doing a good job.
Sure. Yeah.
The head of electricity, Ramagopa, excellent job.
We had him on the show.
Enoch Gonagwana, David Masondo, excellent job. There's some very good people in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I do pick a few and nail them all the time, like Gwede and Aaron Motsoaledi. Whack, whack, whack. But there's some very good people at the top of the ANC, and they do an excellent job.
Has Minister Mantashe called you?
He did. We actually call each other often. When he stood up and said, we need more nuclear power plants and we need more coal-fired stations in South Africa using our own coal. I called him and said, Gwede, I agree with you on both of those. Well done. And he called me back and said, well, what's the press statement going to look like? And I said, 2 patriots committing to save this country. And he laughed. He said, no, I like that. No, he's a good guy. I just wish he'd ditched the Communist Party.
Sure.
There's a massive swing away from woke ideology, identity politics, to what I call the norm, back to normal. It got completely out of control. Even my friends who are Democrats were like, we've got all the lunatics in our stable, and we don't like them all. So the world is swinging back. The pendulum has swung too far. The world's swinging back into a good order. All we have to do is kick out Keir Starmer, that dreadful Trudeau, and that, I can't remember, Albanese in Australia, and that's a full sweep. Johan Rupert and Christoph Issa don't speak to each other. They fight actively. Koos Becker's buggered off with his money to build hotels around the world.
Sure.
GT Ferreira is retired. Dippenaar is not well, but his family have built a very successful investment firm. They don't sit around, smoking cigars, sit around a table and agree on how South Africa is going to be run. It doesn't happen. They're competing with each other business-wise. Some of them are friends, but it's nothing more than that.
Life of an artist, bad shot baby spices, at glorifying drugs as a stage fright cure. You can try this just when you about to grab your chance of staging. Excitement, you can't think out this industry, or should I say this killer dream, cause you will swear that from the start it was designed to kill artists. Bangakulela when days are bright, as a human being on Instagram, too much pressure, unrealistic expectations. Whoever said that is the perfect is with us, wethembekile, singiza wethembekile, remedies within us, ezikhwemba sibhebhekile.